Good evening and welcome to Friday, the first edition of News Geelong. In tonight's news, we report on the very important subject of safety in the city of Greater Geelong and recent forums that have taken place involving leading experts on the subject matter. In the world of Geelong sport, the man of pulsating sports, Tim Michell, will look at one of Geelong's Cricket Association finals that commenced this weekend. And in the world of weather, Geelong's sparkling Larni Salathiel will update us on what we can expect for the week ahead. Now, what is a men's shed? Well, the Torquay Community Men's Shed is to provide a focus for men in the local community to informally enhance good health and develop friendships, share knowledge and skills, and get involved in activities of particular interest and of community benefit, or just to chill out, as Ian Nicholls reports.
This is the Torquay Men's Shed, a very busy place every Wednesday when about 20 of our local retirees and friends get together in the men's shed, which I suppose this modern updated version is just really like a big shed in your backyard, except this one offers camaraderie. It offers the opportunity for men to get together and have fun. And that's what they're doing here today. And we're going to take a look around at the newest men's shed here on the surf coast of Victoria. This is what a modern day men's shed looks like. And the man behind this wonderful venture here on the surf coast is Councillor Dean Webster, who wears many hats, of course, Dean. This funded by not the council but other sources within the surf coast.
Yeah, that's right, Ian. This is actually facilitated through Spring Creek Community House, but the coordinator who coordinates the Men's Shed program here is funded through the Torquay and District Community Enterprise, which I'm chair, and GMHBA are also contributors. So we're proud to be involved in the Men's Shed program because the guys, as you can see, get together and do lots of little projects and big projects. This is a temporary home that we've found for the Men's Shed, and with some funding from council and the state and federal government, we'll be doing a new men's shed near the Spring Creek Community House, probably on the old police station site.
Well, that is good news. We're out on Duffields Road here, about 2 or 3 k's from the Surf Coast Highway. Beautiful, magnificent rural views, but most of the time is spent in this shed, and a wonderful camaraderie they seem to have.
It is, and the guys also have a stall at the farmers market on Saturdays, which is great, and they do a lot of community projects too, and with restoration work, and a lot of new materials that you'll see around here are materials that they're recycling, so the whole project is a fantastic outcome.
The shed manager is Ray Busby, and we've moved down to the recreation area.
That's right, Ed.
And the guys are still hard at it, of course, but this is where they perhaps relax with a game of snooker, and they can exchange ideas and talk about life.
Basically, that's right, yes. They, more often than not, they're down here than they are out there working, but we don't put any pressure on them, and if a guy wants to come and just sit down and coffee and have a chat, well, it's fine.
Well, it is not only for their well-being, it's for their health and their state of mind once they leave the workforce. They've got something to do.
That's exactly right, Ian. It's exactly right. And that's what we've found, is that older guys come down on a sea change down this way, and the kids think after a while, oh, it's too far to come, Dad, we're not going to come down this weekend. And then they'll leave it, and it gets longer and longer, and Dad sits in his shed at home in the same 4 walls, and he starts to feel a bit depressed, a bit lonely and so on. If we can get him out of that environment into here, he can share ideas with like-minded fellas, and it definitely helps. It's been proven, documented in various surveys and research projects, so it works, it works.
This is Ian Nicholls at the Men's Shed, Torquay, for News Geelong.
Thank you, Ian. A temporary bridge called a Bailey Bridge will be built across the Barwon River at Queen's Park in July by the 2010 UCI Organising Committee in conjunction with Vic Roads, with preliminary works expected to start in June of this year, as Meryl Friend reports.
The UCI 2010 World Road Race will be coming to Geelong in September, and the iconic Queen's Park Bridge will become the viewing platform, and a new temporary Bailey Bridge will be constructed on the north side.
Well, the temporary bridge is there to facilitate the use of Queen's Park Road as part of the cycling route. So really the purpose is to ensure that we've got a 6 metre wide width on that as part of the course. So really our role in that is about supplying the temporary bridge components to the event organisers and I guess essentially providing technical and design support, and we're really pleased to do that. We'll also have a role in transporting the components from Ballarat to the site.
And so I suppose there is a contentious issue there with the local residents. Some of them would like to see that temporary bridge be a permanent one.
Look, at this stage there are no plans for a permanent structure. The temporary bridge will be removed after the event, and any need for a future bridge or duplication of the bridge will be considered at that stage.
And so the bridge that's there originally at the moment, will that be the viewing platform for the race?
My understanding that's right, yeah. So people will have a great vantage point for such a fantastic event for Geelong and Melbourne. So, yeah, that's right.
And so once the event's over, what sort of time frame will there be before the bridge comes down again?
Well, I understand that detail will still be worked out, but essentially as soon as practical after the event, it will be removed.
Meryl Friend, News Geelong.
Thank you, Meryl. Community safety in our city of Geelong and surrounding regions is always a continued focus of consultation and expert advice from sectors throughout our community, as Erin Pearson reports.
Geelong played host to the highly attended Community Safety Forum last Thursday to discuss the impacts of drug, alcohol and violence on our community.
I think it went really well. We have a really engaged community and we had really wide representation. It was fantastic. Yeah.
And part of Deakin University's research, are you excited to have Professor Graham coming over and speaking to us about her research?
Yeah, very excited to have world leaders come and to talk to us and to see what's happening in Geelong. We don't get a mention very often. I think it's fantastic.
And Professor Graham, you obviously travelled all the way down here to speak to us and what's happening in our nightlife community. How has your research compared to what we're looking at doing now?
I think there's a lot going on here, and I learn as much when I give a presentation as I do, as maybe people learn from me. So I'm quite impressed with all of the stuff that's going on.
And you had a lot of questions here today about the ID cameras and the radios and those sorts of things that we're doing. Have you found those avenues used overseas as well as here?
Sure, yeah, the things get around the world pretty quickly, and I got to put my plug in that we need more research on how well they work and how they work, not just whether they work, but actually why they work and what they're doing.
And what are some of the initiatives that we're using in Geelong at the moment in regards to the ID scanners, the cameras, that you are finding are helping the police the most?
Okay, I think there are a number of contributing factors that include the ID scanners, the CCTV footage, the effective use of community buses taking people home out of the CBD, the nightlife taxi ranks, as well as the liquor accord that's been established for some years across the region.
From the council's point of view, is it encouraging to see so many people come down and want to talk about, drug, alcohol and violence issues in our town?
I think that one of the things that I took out of today is not so much having the solutions. We already do a lot of stuff. I'm not saying that we've solved the problem. I'm not saying we'll ever solve the problem. But what I took out of today was there's a whole lot of things that I now want to go out and find out about. My notes are about all the things that we haven't been doing and to see whether they might be good interventions for Geelong.
Erin Pearson at City Hall.
Thank you, Erin. Remember, safety in our city of Geelong, paramount. As we go to a break, we'll be back with more on our Friday edition of News Geelong after this.